Hi.
We're live on Being Silence Retreat Facebook page. Mansi Mahajan. How do you say your name?
Good to see everyone here. So lovely to have yet another enlightening conversation. Looking forward.
And Anjali Agarwal.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you. Just a little second here for me to do something here. Okay, so we decided to have this enlightening conversation about how we experience the divine in our own lives for the pure pleasure of doing this. Basically, because we are passionate about this theme, and we created the course, The Divine Within You, which you can access on Udemy platform. And it is an 11-day course called The Divine Within You, 11 Steps to Inner Freedom. So we thought, oh, well, let's have, because we always have these conversations when we're together. So we said, why don't we have this conversation live? And right before tuning in live, we were having a conversation about our perception of time and space at the moment and how it's quite strange. So, Matsi, could you share what you feel time to be at the moment?
Yeah, just like we were talking about time and space, it seems to be less relevant now. You know, it's like we're existing, you said, like we're existing in parallel dimensions. I feel we're existing in like parallel lifetimes. Something that happened earlier this year, BC, I call it, before Corona, seems like a past life. It just seems like when you say it was earlier in 2020, when we had like normal lives, it doesn't seem like it was only a few months ago. Because these 4 months seem to be, they have such a permanence to them because, you know, they're realigning the space we exist in a good way, if we let it. So, yeah, time seems to be like it has a strange texture at the moment.
Yeah, I really feel it as the way I'm living time at the moment is completely in each moment. So because I'm living in surrender to my divinity, so the divine human is learning how to exist in physical reality. Now, how do you actually become the divine human beyond just human? That what was my life many years ago. So as I have gradually fallen into the divine human, so discovering what it is like to be divine in everyday life, in regular everyday life, without having to remove myself from regular life. But yes, so I do live quite a removed life, but not in the sense that I live in a monastery or anything like that. And so the way I'm experiencing time at the moment is because each moment is so relevant and is lived so fully, I don't need to hold on to it.
Yes.
So I live it and it's gone, and I don't need to go back to it, or I don't need to wish for it. I don't need to wish it was happening all over again, or any of the ways that life used to be some years ago. So time has become super relevant. And on the other hand, in this third dimension, I feel time is sort of rushing by, like days just pass by, and I don't really feel they're separate, really.
Yeah.
It's like it's all one unfolding, continuous unfolding, a continuous flow. There's no separation for me between one day and the next day and the next day, because life is very fluid. There's no difference in terms of the bliss, the beauty I contemplate in each moment today and I contemplated in each moment yesterday, no matter what I was doing. Of course, I'm doing different things every single day, but that's not the point, because contemplation comes from where I'm doing those things from. So I can be watering my vegetable garden, which I'm very proud of, or feeding the chickens, or creating a video, or just reading a book, or having a meeting, whatever. And the contemplation is there all the time. It's like the divine within me is really living each moment of this time and space. So that's, for
Beautiful.
me, that's what makes the whole difference. What
Yeah.
about you, Anjali? How have you been experiencing time and space?
It's kind of strange the way I have been experiencing time. So the days, like day one, day two, day three, they are still there. So it's still 24 hours. But within those 24 hours, I have, without seeing the watch, I just cannot understand whether it is 2 in the afternoon or it's 6 in the evening. Somehow the time is flowing like a river. And as we were discussing earlier, it's like I'm living in many dimensions together. It's like the space has just, like a whirlwind, everything has merged into one. So um, it's like a whole amalgamation of different things. And what is also surreal is that while I can see today as it is happening, suddenly I withdraw inside and I'm seeing some day in the past without even understanding what has happened to me. And suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm here, I'm here. So I don't know. It's kind of a strange experience. Somehow
Yeah.
we are living in freedom in the current space. And so we sort of have this energy of time travel, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Wow,
can
yeah,
go back
that's a
and
good way to
travel
look at it.
ahead also, maybe. And I think also one thing which is important for me and which I do realize is this is the time to plan manifestations. So this time is so powerful with us, where we are living in sort of a pure space, that this is from where the seed of manifestation of anything that we want is going to start. So when the time can shift like this, which means it can also um, have these magical properties and do a lot more for us. We should
Yeah.
take advantage of this time. We should not just, yes, it's flowing like a river, but let's like flow the seed of what we want to do within it.
That's what
And
and
I'm
that's
sure.
exactly what I think is, like people ask you, like, what's yoga? I mean, this is beyond that. The divine within you for me is exactly this. It's taking that present moment and diving in it so immensely and so deeply that it becomes your reality in a way that you've created it. Not in a way that, like you're flowing in it, but it's actually that you've manifested it because you are so conscious and so aware. And like you said, Anjali, like, there is this immense opportunity for us to live like this, live each day exactly with this beautiful level of consciousness. I think like corona is, like, this time has been such a beautiful guru for each one of us. It's like, in a way, like it's like we were all asleep as a generation of people, and it's woken us up. It's like, come on, it's time to awaken, rise and shine. So it's yeah, like it's really beautiful, if we look at it this way.
There is, I would say, there is nothing like a great shadow to waken up our light.
Wow.
Because the light, it doesn't have a need to shine
Yeah.
if we are not challenged by the darkness. So, in a
Ah,
sense, what this new time, and things will never be the way they were, fortunately. Now, we don't know which way they're going, but fortunately, because things are not supposed to be the same ever. Nothing is
that's
ever the same. So,
Yes, it's not good.
whatever happens. But in this case, none of us could have imagined. We knew, I'm sure we knew, I knew I was here on earth at a very special time, but I couldn't imagine what was going to come to pass
going to come.
that
Yeah.
good. something that would make the whole world stop, that would make people have to look at their lives, to take look at their families and see how their relationships are going on within their families, within themselves, look at their jobs, look at their economies, look at the way things are happening in everyday life, take a step back and become the observers of what life was like before everyone had to stop,
Yeah.
what life is like stopping, and what life can become afterwards. And so, though it is, yes, I do feel and believe the fruit of great of humanity's darkness altogether, of all of our hidden, non-acknowledged dark side, that
Yeah.
had manifested this opportunity for us to look it in the eye and choose again and see,
That's
okay, now you have this time to look at the way you've been living your life, to see if it makes sense, to see if your relationships are healthy, to see if your own relationship with yourself is healthy, to see if the way things are in your reality is balanced, and reassess and choose again. And so, as in each individual's life, we can only really value the power of our inner wisdom, of our essence, of the divine within us when we feel most challenged. And it's
beautiful.
at those times that we say, okay, I've had enough of this, I want something else.
Yeah.
Same thing now, but the thing is, this has happened at a massive scale. So we have at this moment this brilliant opportunity.
Yeah.
And for me, because I was already living that,
Yeah.
it has been even more of a witnessing. I sometimes tell people, now you're living the life I usually live.
What you call quarantine is my regular life.
It's my regular life, like choice. And what I notice, according to continuing what you were saying about now is the time to create, to manifest, to choose our manifestation, because we are the creators of our reality, no matter whether we're conscious of it or not. It
Yes.
happens due to all of our belief systems, our perceptions. All of that creates the way we perceive and live reality. But for me, because I started by being very clear about what I want, what I don't want in my reality years ago, and have been working with conscious choice continuously, surrendering my free will to my essence. Say, I really don't want to know. I surrender to, what do you want to experience in this physical reality? I am open to experience what you, the divine within me, is here to experience. So what I find more and more is I don't really need to make choices for the future,
Yeah.
because my now moment is so relevant 100% of the time. And so this is what I would like anyone or everyone to be able to experience, is that if each moment is relevant and lived with gratitude, with fullness, with awareness, with kindness towards ourselves, being gentle with ourselves and being able to embrace all of the parts of us that were not embraceable, acceptable, being able to do that on a daily basis, coming to a point where we are no longer dealing with that anymore, and where we can just blissfully experience the now moment and know that each moment that's coming next is always and purely a consequence of this. So I don't have big plans for the future, because I feel there's nothing to really achieve, because this is what I came to achieve. So for me, and I believe for many, achieving that state of blissful contentment where you live from that joyful freedom, and that you can do that, whatever you're doing, whoever you're with, and just surrender to discovering moment to moment, what is it that you, the divine within me, us, what are we gonna experience now from this point of experience? Not creating long-term futures like, you
Yeah.
know, like 20 years future, 30 years future, just
Yeah.
discovering as it unfolds, and knowing that by trusting that knowingness, only the very best for me and for everyone else can come to pass. So this is beyond having to make conscious choices. So once the choice is surrendered to, okay, now my choice is to live my divine in this human body, in this human life. So that is a whole choice in itself, but
Yes.
it has no map. So I don't know what that is until I'm living it each moment.
Beautiful.
Oh,
I
that's so
remember you
nice.
said once that you know that there's no wrong choices. You can't go wrong when you're coming from a place of absolute trust. No choice you make will lead you astray. No choice you make will be the wrong path to have chosen. It's
Yeah.
all right. Not just all right. It's all right.
It's all okay because it's all coming
Yeah.
from the same space. And the thing
It's
is, there
coming
is
from
an
that
abundance.
integrated space.
Yeah.
What I also feel of today, understanding what you're saying, as this is like the beginning of the age of consciousness. Till now, we are living and we are just wondering, and everybody's wondering where are we. But these COVID times, as I call them, have also shown people that where are we? They were thinking of life as, okay, dissected into various sections. So this section is for my office, and most of the time I'm
Yeah.
going to spend in office. And this separate
Yeah.
section is for my family, and the separate section is for my spiritual
All the boxes
upliftment.
got
If
bundled
the
up.
process, yeah, if the process has started for them, but suddenly it's all merged because they're stuck in the house. So when you're in the house, you're understanding what your family is all about. For the one time you're having to deal with your office work for people mostly,
Yeah.
as well as with what is happening with the family, the turmoils
As
that
well
people
as
are going
doing
through.
the dishes, as well as like helping out in the kitchen. It's
Right, right. And developing that sheer respect for everybody in the family, whether
everybody's
the
role.
person be an old person or a child, suddenly that has come. And
Yeah.
it's like if somebody is letting you work from the home, now your office does not own your house, right? But you're working from there. So you have to respect that there are other people in the family whose privacy is being invaded. So the office also has to respect. So the bosses are also, oh, the kid is crying at the back. Okay, okay, go take a 5-minute break. So suddenly it's like a big change, and probably this is like the beginning of that big change that's coming. So this is one part of it. And if we go broader, I also feel the countries are also re-evaluating the mass crowd, the people, the citizens of countries and the world. So, in India, there's a saying called Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam basically means the whole world is my home,
Family.
and the whole world is my family. And today, that is true more than ever, because these COVID times have shown us that how it spread from one part of the world to the entire world, and how if it is going to go with the vaccine or however it's also going to go from the entire world. So we are associated, we are connected to each other. It's not that I'm in one country, somebody's in another country, so it really doesn't matter. She'll take care of her country and I'll take care of my country. No, it's not like that anymore. So that bigger realization that yes, it is one family. We have to take care of all of us together if we got to survive.
Yeah. If
And
we have to get through
also,
this.
yeah, we have to live it together. We have to, in the future, it all has to be together. And even nature has shown us by sort of re-energizing itself, by coming out brighter and more beautiful. Suddenly the streams are flowing where there were no streams. Suddenly there are green, fresh leaves and flowers where the trees had gone dead. Even in places like India, where you don't see so much of nature, the nature is showing its true colors. It's magical. So, which is why I again and again say this is the beginning of this new age, and we must take it forward in a nice way. Yes, there are people who are content where they are, but there are people who, in their space, like politicians or the thinkers, everybody has to align and think so that they are able to infuse that energy amongst the entire generation to save our
Yeah.
current generation and the future too.
I don't see it as saving. I see it as being, and each
Yeah,
one can be.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
by being, each one choosing that path of being, it changes all of the whole entire world, because each one of us that acknowledges, okay, I'm not just the small human that has no power, that can change nothing, that just has to go along with everything that's going on, whether we trust, whether we believe in it or not, whether we agree with it or not. No, it's not that anymore. It's, wait a minute, there is something else, and it is that something else that is actually the most relevant part, in a sense, and not, but not in physical reality. In
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
reality, the human and the divine are as relevant. So this separation that everyone had been living before, even the people who have their spiritual practices and so on, that was left to a certain time and space in the day or whatever, or in the week or so. And it's bringing all of that into regular day-to-day life, as governments, as companies, huge enterprises have to become more equitable,
Yeah.
more
Compassionate.
environmentally conscious,
Yeah.
more conscious of each human's specific needs. Like you
Needs.
were saying, Anjali, people are now many working from home, and the boss now cannot just say, forget about it, you don't have a family at home, now I'm the company is the most important thing. No, everyone has had to stop and see, wait a minute, my life is not made up of compartments. I am not made up of compartments. Everything is one whole, one whole. And when this expression that we are all one, for me, means each one is a whole one,
Yeah.
and each and every single human can come into this realization of oneness within. And when we are in that, we realize that it's not by having arguments, by fighting against each other, by proving that we're better or more right than the other or whatever, or more worthy or so on, that we're going to get anywhere. Like, people have having to stay at home have realized now, if they stay at home and start getting irritated with each other's presence, what is
Yes,
that going to cause? War, violence, a lot of domestic violence at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that isn't working, how can we make that work? So the fight in itself is being brought to the forefront, even with all of the racial debate at the moment as well. Everything is coming forward,
It's coming to surface. Yeah.
is looking okay. So you can go about it through fighting. Now look at the result of that.
Yeah.
But at the very same time, the opportunity to do it a new way is more present than ever, to
absolutely
choose
agree.
cooperation. And so we are not just one country and each country is one thing. Exactly. Just as us, we are not just human or just divine. We are not just body, just mind, or just spirit. Our organs are not just the heart or the liver or the spleen or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the whole
It's
world
all of it.
is that
Yeah.
reflection of our own
All.
completeness, right? If we work
Beautiful.
separate within us, we are at war. And the
Yes,
exact same thing will be reflected in the world around us, until enough of us decide not to be at war, but we cannot impose this wisdom or this choice on anyone.
It's an
Though,
evolution. Yeah.
but the darkness that came up now has given everyone this opportunity. It's not an imposition, but you get to choose where
Yeah,
you're gonna
Yeah,
be.
exactly.
it's something
That's
like,
true.
sorry, it's something like you're living the life from outside to inside. Okay, this. But now we have to anchor to the inside and live the life from inside out.
Yes,
So
we
basically, the whole, yeah, yeah.
we
So we
have a
have to
comment
be
here.
at peace with
Yeah,
inside
that's so
and then
beautiful.
gradually spread it outside, because that's what I'm sure people are feeling also. That gradually they can feel that expansion, and gradually they can feel that without making the inside strong, you just can't, you don't have a way forward.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
amazing because I have never seen so many people turn to yoga. Like it's unbelievable. It's like there's a lawyer that he wanted some yoga classes from me. So we were speaking, and he was telling me about his meditation regimen that he's developed. So he does like an hour and a half of like this practice, that practice, this and that. And I was amazed. And so many people in like the corporate jobs and all of the people who were stuck in like those patterns, they've all turned to yoga, they've all turned to meditation, to well-being. And it's beautiful to see because they're going to infuse so much of this, goodness into their lives and spread it into their homes. And those
Yeah.
are the places where you would least expect it to awaken first, possibly. It's just, yeah, I'm amazed every day with
Yeah.
the amount of, like depth this pandemic has had in actually turning everyone's lives around and like trying to gain, control of your life in a really good way, like having your own toolkit to feel healthier, better immunity. Everyone's like, oh, I want to learn immunity boosting yoga. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Really,
That's the point. It's that people have a choice at this moment between focusing on what they don't like about all of this situation,
yeah,
or
yes, yes,
finding the treasure in it. Because in
that's
every single situation, in every single experience, we can find the treasure.
yeah,
Even in the darkest recesses of our darkest side, that once we bring it forward, we say, yes, come, I am ready to look you in the eye. I'm ready to accept whatever you have to share with me.
yeah.
Even there resides the divine. But it has
That
been
is,
wrapped up and held in place until we had the courage to say, yes, come forth. I am
yeah,
ready to embrace all of the power
embrace.
you have been holding for me. And so this is exactly it in physical reality.
Yeah,
And now imagine if all of the corporate managers and high CEOs of the biggest companies and the governments and all of the places that sort of have a very powerful hand on the way the economy will shift. If these people start awakening to that unity within, they cannot but spread it outside, because
absolutely.
your eyesight shifts. You just can't
Yeah,
see things the other way.
yeah,
You start seeing things in a new way, and there's no way you can go back to the
go
other
back
way
to
you
the
were
old
seeing
vision.
before.
No, yeah,
So that is the one of the greatest gifts of allowing expanded consciousness, of allowing our higher self to come into physical form and reality, is that once it starts expanding, you cannot reduce it.
no.
So there's no way you can go wrong. no one
Exactly.
no one can that's why there's no book that sort of can guide us directly, because each one will open up a window of consciousness for each part of their own reality that required a new point of view. So it's unique for Anjali, for Mansi, for me, and for every single other person. The windows of consciousness that will open for each one are different. That's why it's so relevant that each one of us actually does that allowing. This is all the process of allowing, allows, embraces, opens up, and then we don't know what can come to pass from that because we've never lived it at
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
massive scale. So
And
wow.
the good thing, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt. The
please,
good thing
please.
is, like Mansi is saying, everybody wants to do yoga. Everybody wants, which means that desire is there. The desire to see what is good for us as a whole,
Yeah.
human species, and of course the other species that are inhabiting this earth. The desire has already taken birth, which was probably there in some parts and some pockets. But that
Yeah, I
wholesome
mean, it's
desire
the
has taken
sleeping
birth.
giants were waking up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we call it
So
the
the eyes are
dragon
open, the heart is
of
opening up.
The
consciousness.
dragon, yes, exactly. The sleeping dragons are slowly coming.
Waking up.
Some are still waiting. Some are not happy to be shaking. They're not happy about this whole vibration that's coming around them. But they'll wake up. They'll take a little time, but they'll wake up.
We've got a
And
few
what is
comments
so
here.
interesting? Yeah, somebody's.
Just sharing here some of the comments we have.
So beautiful. What a
Thank you,
beautiful comment,
Seba.
Seba. Wow.
Beautiful. And another one
Thank you,
also.
Zeba. Thank you very much for this comment. Beautiful, Zeba.
Another very wise, beautiful comment. And then we have
Yeah.
Sonia here. Mansi.
Oh, Sonia, I love you. Beautiful Sonia.
There you are.
She's an amazing artist from Slovenia. She makes mandalas of like larger than life mandalas. She's a really special
Beautiful.
Sonia.
And then another one here. And that's all we have for the moment here. Well,
Thank you. Thank you, Zeba. Thank you, Sonia.
thank you very much, both of you, Zeba and Sonia.
Yes.
Zeba is a school friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we had planned for around 30 minutes. We are at 32.
But I think we can still go on.
You're enjoying it, right,
We can go
Anjali?
on for a long time.
Absolutely.
Because we started this conversation saying time has no relevance to us anymore. So suddenly it'll be tomorrow and we're still talking.
Absolutely. Suddenly we can feel it right here. Like, it seems like 10 minutes have gone by, but I can see it's something like 33 minutes have gone by. But
Yes,
actually, if a lot of people start having this conversation like we are having inside their sitting rooms, inside their houses, because people are not going out so much, inside their cars, whatever they're doing, then just imagine the change it's going to bring to everybody. Because the very fact that they're having such a conversation means that there is a need for such a conversation.
Yes.
Which means there's a need for understanding what has gone wrong, because something has gone wrong to land us up at this kind of juncture where everything comes to a stop suddenly and all over the world. Has it ever happened? I could never even think. I don't think anybody's seen such a thing.
Yeah.
Flus have happened, gone, but this kind of a thing. And you know what? The important thing that I want to mention here is, like in India, the Ayush ministry is also saying that have these herbs, do yoga, do cleansing exercises, do pranayam, and that is what is going to save you. So can you imagine? We are fighting against this pandemic. We are fighting against this virus we can't even see. And what was going to save us?
Back to nature.
Building up our immunity again. Yeah, inside. We make our inside stronger in every way. So not only the inside as in the spiritual inside, but also the immune inside. And then with that, we fight this out. So isn't this amazing that suddenly people are being forced to turn inside? That okay, the divine within you, what has to be woken up? The divine within you, what has to be accessed?
We don't need to fight it, because anything you fight makes itself stronger. Because as we fight something, we both need an adversary. The adversary becomes stronger because it needs to defend itself. And we entertain our consciousness in the fight against something instead of in the allowing of something else that is our fullness, our expanded self. And so I would like to invite everyone to consider this. Instead of envisioning this time as something that we are fighting against, why not as something we are cooperating with, in a sense of finding a new way within the whole context that we are looking at? Okay, so this has happened for a reason, and the reason is definitely not for massive destruction, but that can happen. Though it resides with each one of us whether we can make the choice to release the need to fight, and also to realize, for instance, if you catch this virus, as in any other virus, as in any bacteria, as anything, whatever, it has a purpose in your life then. Otherwise, you wouldn't contract it, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So beyond even the COVID-19, whatever it is, whatever our body needs to show us where the imbalance resides, it will happen. And an interesting thing with the flu is that in a metaphysical sense, the flu is on one hand a detoxifying for the body. It creates a huge cleanse in the body through making us stop. Because when we have the flu, we always have high fever, pain in the body, we can't do anything, we feel really run down, we have to stop, we have to rest, we have to eat very little and healthily. All of these things happen for a reason. So, I mean, instead of being afraid of the virus, like, oh my God, if I'm, I've got asthma or I've got this or other condition, I can't by any chance contract this. That is fighting against it. What if you accept it exists, just like so many other viruses, that if you catch them, they are deadly or not? It all depends on what is the purpose of your incarnation, what is the purpose of your life, what is the purpose of that situation in your life, where is it leading you? Because then again, and this may be strange but we're talking about the divine within you, so I'm going to include this. Life on earth, like in physical form, is not the only thing that exists. And transitioning from life to life without physical form to existence beyond physical form is a natural process. Life and death are part of this natural process of existing, and actually each moment dies for the other one to be birthed. So we live life and death moment to moment. Why are we as a whole generation, worldwide, so afraid of death? If you come to a point of acceptance that death is a part of the whole process of existence, and realize that each one of us will have that moment. I mean, no one here on earth is not having that moment. one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Then you're not concentrating on the fear anymore because you've accepted, okay, I could, a plane could fall on your house right now, and COVID would no longer be an issue. Um, the the thing is, release the focus on the fear,
Yeah.
and accept what's happening, and of course take care of yourself, as you were
Yeah.
saying.
Be
Eat
cautious.
healthily, be respectful of your time, respectful of your space, which is this beautiful body you have, no matter what shape it is. Treat it with love. Respect yourself in every single way. Respect each breath. Each breath is so precious. And notice that the virus affects precisely the breath. Now, isn't that fantastic? That a virus came up that affects the breath, the one thing that can lead you to your inner guru. So,
Amazing.
what to do then? That means that everyone, or in general in the world, is not listening to the inner guru, right? Not everyone, but yeah, in a massive scale. As we see,
Yeah.
okay, so if you do not have any purpose for the virus in your life, well, stop and start listening to your inner guru. Start breathing. The virus will not affect you, for sure, if you start breathing. Notice that the people are more afraid, the ones who have precisely respiratory problems with the breath.
Yeah.
What if you start valuing each breath you take much more? That's what I do. So we were sharing how we live the divine within us. For me, each breath is absolutely, absolutely precious. And I'm not giving that away for any virus or whatever. And if I contract anything that comes for any reason, and no matter how healthy I am, because I'm super healthy, I take super good care of myself, but if I contract anything, then I will realize what service it is for me at that moment and move on from there. So it's also an invitation for each single human to take responsibility. It's not the government's thing. It's not the World Health Organization. It's not the doctors. It's you,
Yeah.
we, us, me. I need to take responsibility for my health, for my preciousness, basically.
Yeah, and while we take responsibility for ourselves, we are taking responsibility for everyone around us and then everyone around them. So, what is so interesting about the thing is that we used to say that, okay, the politicians will take care of this, and the leaders will take care of it, or the corporates will take care of this, and so on and so forth. But now everybody has to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
So, we are in
Exactly.
general responsible for everybody.
Yeah. There's a beautiful feeling of like this collective whole at the
Yeah,
moment.
collective work. Yeah.
So
So this situation has shown us that we are all responsible for everybody in a very, very unique way, so as to say.
Yeah.
And the only way to be responsible for everybody is being totally and fully and completely responsible for yourself.
Yourself. Yes.
Because if you don't know how to do that, you cannot really, fully, completely, and totally respect another human being and their entire integrity for who and what they truly are. And
Exactly.
you cannot see the divine within each one if you are not experiencing it in yourself
And yourself.
and respecting it and embracing it and cherishing it. And because many times people ask God or whatever they believe in for help at difficult moments. But then when things start getting a little bit better, they forgot all about
Yeah.
what they were asking
Uh-huh.
about and what they received.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true.
So it's not just leaving the divine for hard moments. Oh no, oh my God, now I'm getting lost. Things are getting hard. I better turn to the divine.
Exactly.
It's like you have to kindle that fire and that it remains. It remains forever.
Yes, you keep
Once
your
it's
house
there, it's
warm.
there.
Yeah. You keep your house warm in your center, and all of your unloved parts can come back home. And in the same way, you can embrace the whole of humanity for its brilliance.
But exactly, it starts in your center. Send so much compassion your own way, then let it radiate
It
out.
will radiate.
Because the love that we hope to give is the love that we're actually keeping inside of our heart, and then it goes out like a bubble, and then it, that flow of energy naturally it's unstoppable.
It happens just by you being here, basically.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
so if you keep it closed, in the sense like if we keep on protecting ourselves in fight mode, in defensive mode, we cannot open that radiance up.
No.
Because we're not open to receive it, because we, defending ourselves from something, we're also defending ourselves from ourselves. We cannot receive it. We cannot radiate it. So, we will be supporting the continuity of coronavirus if we don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, very nicely you explained that. And I'm sure people will understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just with this whole thing, with this beginning of the new age, we even have to change our mindset completely.
Definitely.
Like turn around.
It's a whole complete shift of consciousness. It's a whole complete shift of perspective. What I found in my own life is that there's nothing like my divinity's perspective as for creativity, innovation, being free and out of boxes. And I'm always totally amazed because it's so new, so different than what the mind could have conceived. So for this new perspective that is now available for us,
divinity's perspective as for creativity, innovation,
there is
being free and out of boxes.
Do you have Facebook open? There. It was creating reverb.
Double.
Yeah. Repeating it.
It's an echo.
What is this?
The universe is talking back to me, finally.
Listen to the echoes and the voice and everything the universe has to say.
A one-way conversation this whole time.
There we go again.
This is universe's way of saying that, okay, what are you doing? So every time there'll be bells and there'll be echoes and we have to listen to it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I have to listen to it, exactly.
And another thing I remembered while we were having the conversation is you are in India, both of you. I'm in Portugal. So we are thousands of miles apart.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we're having this conversation as if we were in the same living room.
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing is that this conversation is crossing so many borders, from there to here, from here to there, spreading the seeds for this to be the potential.
That's a really beautiful perspective to think about. So we sprinkled it all around. It's literally across the world.
Yes.
So we could have a lot more of these conversations, right?
We must have some more.
And let everybody sprinkle like this everywhere. Let everybody sprinkle hope and faith like this everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everywhere and anywhere, in the smallest villages, in places where no one lives, everywhere, everywhere, everywhere.
And when the seeds are sprinkled, something is going to grow.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. The rain will come and it will
positive
water
thinking,
it.
positive thoughts. Positive.
Yes.
And it'll
I don't
grow.
know. Do you want to add anything, dear sisters?
Wow.
I just want to say that, just to wrap up, that, we're talking about the divine within you, which is actually a course that we created, right, on Udemy. And it was purely coincidental that we actually finished the course and we launched it. It was divine timing, and it happened right as the world received this pandemic, and we were ready to launch the course. Yeah. So it was, we had a little bit of an internal lag. We don't know why, but then we know in hindsight that delay was divine. And it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. So, that 11-part series that we created, which I'll just sum up really quickly, that, we created a combination of mantras, meditations, and yogic sciences put together in an 11-part series. And then, we were so blessed that it kind of manifested at a time where it was most needed. We would have done it last year, but it wasn't meant to be. We could have done it BC time. It wouldn't have had the same relevance. It had to happen now. So I think that was also, such a beautiful coincidence. It was such a beautiful symphony of time and space again.
Definitely.
At the beginning of the age of
place.
It just arrived at that time, at the beginning of the age of consciousness.
Yes,
yeah.
It did. It did. If anyone would like to purchase this course, it's at the bottom here. If you look, the link is rolling at the bottom of the screen. And let me just see if I can share the screen here, just to show
that's a really great idea.
Let me see if it's gonna work. Okay, I don't know. Can you see the course now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, sister.
Okay, so it's the divine within you. You have a short video here that presents it, and here is the description. So it contains mantras from the Vedas, which Anjali put together. She was looking into it for many, many months and really going in depth to choose these mantras specifically for this course. Then there is the conscious breath practice with each one with a different invitation, always according to the mantras, to go deeper within that perspective. And then there is the yoga practice with Mansi. So the whole thing is usually between 40-45 minutes per day. And the result, of course, only you can attest for it if you try it.
Exactly. And we've had some really beautiful response, right? It's been special for people who needed the course at the time. They've really been able to harness the potential.
Yes, it has been beautiful. And we ourselves went through it before we published it. And of course, having done it, it would seem like there's nothing new. But for me, it was a whole beautiful discovery, just diving into it even deeper, day by day, for these 11 days. And it is truly something that can help anyone connect deeply with the divine within themselves. Definitely.
Yeah, said, right now people are looking for answers, people are looking for the way. So probably this course in itself is a way for people who are looking for the door which they can
Hmm.
open and, you know,
And then they can
understand
listen
what
to
it's
their
all
own
about.
wisdom. Yeah. But
I,
through this
And
I
door.
Yeah, I like to think of it like a toolkit. There's a
Mm.
lot of tools in there, and
Yes,
then you can pick and choose what
exactly.
suits you. You don't have to take it all with you along the path. Maybe you'll get a bit overwhelmed, but just take the elements that you need that fit into the puzzle of your life, and then sort of complete that.
Yeah.
And I received a lot of feedback that some people resonated with some elements, some people really resonated with another. So for everyone, it's different. Just
Yes. And the whole
like
package is in a sense overwhelming because it does take you very, very deep. And if you really want to go that way, you will find and uncover stuff that probably you didn't
yeah,
want to look at.
that's
Um,
true.
but
Yeah.
it's just like the COVID. It's an opportunity.
Oh my! Let's compare that close to the pandemic. But that's it. Everything is an opportunity. That's exactly the divine within you. Can you awaken and recognize everything moment to moment as a huge potential and
Yeah.
opportunity to awaken?
Exactly. And so we facilitate yoga. I have loads of my conscious breath sessions on Insight Timer, which has over 4 million users at the moment. Insight Timer is a free application where people can
Wow.
access meditation by thousands of different instructors. And I have my conscious breath sessions there. And Anjali also practices her mantras, her yoga, all of that on a daily basis, and paints beautiful, beautiful
Beautiful.
paintings. And basically, we do this. This is our life. So what we shared in that course is that
yeah.
is
So
living that.
it's, yeah, we are all breathing it, living it, feeling it joyfully, and we hope that all of you do too. And do get inside yourself, connect, and understand what you're all about, what you've come to this planet for. This is the right time for you to find that out. Make that effort. It'll happen gradually, but you'll find all the tools you need put across your way. You'll just have to pick them up. It's going to unfold bit by bit. So
Just
this
to
is the
finish
journey
off
I
here,
want to
yesterday,
start right.
Mansi and I were having a conversation, and we were saying, how absolutely simple it is to live
Yeah.
your life in surrender to your essence, but why is it so hard to
For people,
get there, to surrender to that?
to
And
access it. Yeah.
exactly, to access it, because that's all part of illusion. That's the way it's supposed to be. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't come here to be born fully enlightened and knowing that we are divine also. We came here to experience separation in order to come into reunion. So
Beautiful. That's
if
really
people
beautiful.
don't get so angry at themselves as to why can't I access this, why can't I go deeper, sometimes within our path there are moments when it's harder, and that, don't get angry, accept, because we've been around forgetting who we truly are for so long.
Um,
Now breaking that habit takes
it takes a
patience,
while. Yeah.
compassion, loving care, staying. Just breathe and stay, breathe and allow. And the more each one allows, the more each one finds oneself in that space. It's
That's
just
true.
an allowing. It's as simple as that. And sometimes this makes some people feel angry, like, oh yeah, how can it be that simple? What, okay, that's not what
Exactly.
I'm living in. And then the mind just gets the person tangled up in this sort of angry argumentation, and there you are. That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
Just release
actually
the
also-
justifying,
Yeah. Also, this was the, as I said, this is the new beginning of the age of consciousness. Also, right now, we were living in the age of diversion of all kinds. So, when there is diversion and when there is collected negative energy for so much time behind us, then we have to invoke the positive energy and do away with these diversions and
Yeah.
concentrate and meditate and do yoga and breathe and come back to being able to concentrate and make it wholesome again for us.
Yeah.
And that
I
is
would
when we are
say
able to
it's
get
even
it also.
beyond positive and negative, because
Yeah.
once you surrender to your essence, you're not judging whether something is positive or negative. You're just in that blissful lake of serenity that is within you, and removing also the judgment as if to whether this is negative or positive is also removing some sort of an entertainment as well. I would say for each person,
True.
if you can stop focusing on fighting against the negative and wanting to be in the positive, that can also be a way to, okay, accept there's negative, there's positive, whatever. Go beyond even that, beyond positive and negative. Because in the space of your inner wisdom, there is no duality. It
Yeah.
is unified. And obviously, it is positive in the way we view it, in the way we all have this, of course, this sense of what feels good, of what feels right. But if we can allow ourselves to open our perspective, even beyond this need to have this judgment as to whether something is positive or negative, that could be a practice that can help people also land into it. Because fighting against the negative, which is so prevalent, as Anjali was saying, I mean, that can be stressful and it can be an effort, it can be strenuous. So okay, it exists, it's all around me, but in this now moment I am finding that space where there is nothingness, just just that silence, just that silence. And then you will be necessarily feeding that kind of consciousness for everyone, and people then won't need to make an effort so much as to whether to choose this or that, because it's become very clear what
Yeah.
works for them in that moment. And definitely serenity does not work for everyone in this
For
moment,
everyone.
and that's okay.
That's true. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, so India time is now 4:30.
Yeah.
We are midday, and even that is so different.
Exactly. I mean, our
Maybe
experiences of life are so different, yet so much the same. And it's happening more now than ever before, that our experiences are so similar of life itself.
And as we had this conversation, as each one of us could share different kinds of perspectives, and all of them tied into the same thing, but are
Theme.
expressed in different ways, there is such richness in that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And collective consciousness expressing itself.
Yes.
So we are all one. Actually, that thing is going to change the world. The realization that we are all one.
Yeah, divine consciousness is unified. It does not divide.
So that is what. If we realize that, then the moment, we are happy.
Aha
Yeah.
moment. Yes. Close.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna end this broadcast and thank everyone who has stood by us all this
Yes,
time, 1
thank you,
hour.
everyone. Yes, let's
Yeah.
keep growing this tribe stronger, more available to each other, more love, more joy, and let's give each other a big global hug, coming together, holding hands and breathing together.
Wow, beautiful.
And let us herald together the beginning of the new age of consciousness.
Yeah, I think we'll go in there holding hands. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, sisters. This was such a beautiful hour of enlightenment and divinity. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank you,
there. Thank you for
Tanya.
being
Thank you,
together.
Ajay.
Thank you.
Thank you.